also got rides. And the big one being one based on Mario Kart. Who doesn't want that? It's like a roller coaster, except you're going to be wearing AR goggles with a hat that looks like Mario's hat. You use that throughout it, so you're going to see all kinds of things. The actual structure that it's going to be going through is a replica of Bowser's castle. Also pretty badass, so I kind of want to go on this as well, but that's something that they're going to be doing. Now, again, the launch date of February 2021 is pretty big. Now, Osaka is also in the middle of a surge in the pandemic, so that's something that they have to be concerned with. Can they hit that date? Who knows? I mean, originally it was supposed to be summer of last year. I will say this, though. The U.S. had more cases of COVID-19 diagnosed yesterday than Japan has in all of the time during the pandemic. So it's not quite as bad as here. Nonetheless, something that could fluctuate when it comes to the date, but pretty cool. Now, this is the one, again, Osaka is where this is opening up. There is plans for a Super Nintendo World in Orlando, but those are on hold. It was supposed to launch a few years from now. Who knows when that's going to happen? Everything's on hold, obviously, here when it comes to amusement parks, but it'll be a big test to see if they can pull this off. Nonetheless, I want to go. It sounds awesome. That is Super Nintendo World with that release date, so you can check out all of that online. Continuing on here with some other breaking news, some other things to be considering right now. This kind of just happened today. It has to do with the FCC Chairman Ajit Pai, who is going to be stepping down on January 20th, 2021, when Biden takes office. There he is right there. That's the guy who's been in charge of everything. So if you're a fan of net neutrality, this is a big deal. And if you don't know what net neutrality is, let me explain. It's the idea that essentially ISPs or internet service providers cannot throttle your internet based on their own whims or who they want you to view. So an example would be, say, Comcast decided that since they have their own original content, they don't want you to view Netflix very fast. They could throttle that and make it work very slowly, or even make you pay more if you want to access that kind of thing. If you want video streaming, you'd have to pay in a different tier. So that's what could happen with the absence of net neutrality. That's what Ajit Pai wants to happen. So it's technically not non-existent anymore. And that is because of something that he pushed through. Now, with that, we haven't seen ISPs do that. You haven't had that happen, but technically they could do it. And that's not a good thing for all of us, especially, say, if you're a smaller business just launching off the ground, a brand new streaming service like 2Box Live. We don't want our show to be throttled by anybody. And that's something that with a new FCC chairman, hopefully we'll see some of those issues kind of get resolved. It doesn't mean that these providers shouldn't be regulated or that there shouldn't be some kind of stipulations put upon them, but we can't have that happen. It's just bad all around for all of us to see something like that happen, where you'd have to pay in different tiers, or some people wouldn't get video because they can't pay enough. We don't want that. So it's a good thing, in my opinion, that Ajit Pai is going. So that is going to be on January 20th. We'll see who President-elect Biden puts into place, but generally they've kind of leaned towards allowing net neutrality to be a thing. So that's something important to follow along with. That'll be affecting us next year. Continuing on with news, talking about trending technology and some things that are happening right now, let's look to this. The Qualcomm Snapdragon Tech Summit is happening virtually, just like everything else. Last year, it took place in Maui, Hawaii. I was there. I wish I was back in Maui, Hawaii, but we're not. So we're going to be seeing this as a virtual summit. I'm going to explain why this is a big deal, because what's happening is we're looking at the future of technology, the future of our devices. This isn't something that necessarily is going to affect you right away, but it has to do with how our devices process information. That's what Qualcomm does, is Snapdragon processors. It's a very important piece of a lot of mobile phones, and that seems to be what the focus is this year. Last year, they kind of took a look at different situations as far as virtual meetings. Remember, this was right before the pandemic last year, but they were looking forward with that, showing how we could meet all in virtual environments. Now they're going to be looking at mobile technology, and in particular with phones. And I think this could be the moment where we see 5G kind of become more mainstream. We've seen it with the top end phones, from everybody releasing them. Even Apple, we thought they were going to delay things, but they came out with 5G. So how these chips can process that information is something that's interesting to look forward to see where, say, a year from now, we're going to be with that kind of tech. What does that mean? More augmented reality? Probably. more artificial intelligence, that's a huge push and something that we expect to see a lot of information come out about that, about how these things process AI as we've seen it get better and better, especially when it comes to our assistants. This is a big deal on how our tech works. So definitely we'll want to follow along with that. That's December 3rd and 4th is when they're going to be launching that. It's live on YouTube and other places where you can live stream, and of course at Qualcomm as well. But a big deal right there to see how that tech looking forward is going to affect us. That's why these things are important. So again, that's the Qualcomm Snapdragon Tech Summit. Continuing on here with trending news and something that you can look forward to this week. We talked about it before, but here it is. SpaceX is planning to do a test launch of the Starship, and we don't know exactly when. It could be today, could be tomorrow, but sometime this week, according to Elon Musk, they're going to be testing out that SN8 Starship rocket. What is the Starship, you may ask? Well, Starship is kind of the leading edge of what SpaceX is looking to do. We've seen a lot of the Falcon 9 launches. I think 100 of them. They just reached the 100th anniversary of those launching, being able to reuse them. It's a big deal when it comes to regular launches, especially sending even astronauts to the International Space Station. Starship is the one that's meant to take people beyond that and cargo. We're talking about going to the moon and eventually Mars when Elon Musk creates his Musk City or whatever he's going to call it on Mars. So here's what's going to happen with this test. And they are going to be live streaming it, they said. So it is going to do, they've done some test launches before. They even had a couple of them blow up, which is part of testing out these rockets. There's nobody on board during this test, so don't worry about that. But what they plan to do is send this thing up 15 kilometers into the sky, into the atmosphere. So that's about 50,000 miles. And when they get up there, it's going to, what its plan is that it's going to basically do how it would normally land back onto a planet. They're going to attempt to re-land this thing. And what happens is it turns itself over. It lies flat in order to reduce its reduce the wind, and then glide down before it turns back vertical and lands. It's very sci-fi. It's pretty cool. There's some great example videos that are out there kind of showcasing what this would look like. And again, this is the SN8, so it's the 8th version. Elon Musk even said there's only about a 30% chance that this is actually going to work. So we could be watching it and we get to see a safe rocket explosion that could happen. But that is what they're going to be testing out with this. They actually already have the SN9 already ready to go as the next level of this, which is kind of how SpaceX does these. They already have the next version ready to go, and then they'll make tweaks based on what happens with this. Pretty cool, though. We'll be restreaming it when it does go live. So follow 2box Media on whatever social media platform you prefer. Or of course, you can always go to 2boxmedia.com and follow along there, and we will be broadcasting that. It's cool. Rocket launches are great. We always enjoy those. Now, one other thing to pay attention to, and this is something that was announced that has to do with the future. I mentioned Falcon 9 has done 100 launches of their own. They're setting up a lot of satellites, and that's a big concern when it comes to our space, the space around Earth. There are a lot of satellites. There's a lot of debris up there. In fact, I believe it's 900,000 pieces of debris are floating around that are being tracked right now around our orbit, around the orbit of Earth. And that's a huge concern when it comes to launching things. These are things traveling at 16,000 miles an hour. Even something the size of a marble could do tremendous damage. And we need to figure out how to clean that up. And there's a lot of organizations looking to do that. And there's one called ClearSpace, which wants to send a claw to space, a space claw. And that's what their mission is to do. So they just got funding for this from the European Space Agency. It's going to launch, I believe 2025 is when they're targeting. They've got to get everything built for it. But if it goes up, what they can do is they plan to use this claw to reach out and grab a satellite, one in particular, and then they're going to use that to take it back into the atmosphere where it can burn up and safely remove that from orbit. There's a lot of these that are out there. One single claw is not going to be able to do the whole job, but that's something that they're looking forward to try to do. So this is ClearSpace again testing theirs out. You have other companies that have proposed things like a giant space net. That's one, a space magnet. You just put space in front of everything, and somebody's probably got a plan to try those out. But again, ClearSpace. That's what they're looking to do with their space claw. And I am definitely looking forward to seeing that. The videos that they have up are pretty cool and showcasing how it would work. But hopefully we can figure this out, how to clean up space. Otherwise, it's going to be a mess out there. And, we don't want to end up getting trapped on Earth because we can't send anything up. So ClearSpace looking to clear the space around the Earth. And so that's just a quick news update for you on what is going on with that. But we've got gaming news coming up. We have Lisa Marie Segarra, who's going to be joining us to talk about what the state is with PlayStation 5 and Xbox. I know a lot of people have been trying to get them. Maybe you're one of the lucky ones. You can always send me your console if you want to test it out. That's okay. But regardless, we've got that. We've got what's new in gaming. We've got Animal Crossing. All of that's coming up. So stick around. We're back in just a minute with Lisa Marie Segarra here on 2Box Live. Hello, I'm Greg Nibbler. You probably know that if you've been watching already, but this is 2Box Live. Again, our show here from 2Box Media, where we keep you up to date with technology, culture, and entertainment. All three of those kind of converge with what we are talking about next, and that has to do with the world of gaming. And we have an expert joining us right now. We have Lisa Marie Segarra to talk about everything that is going on with that. Number one, Lisa Marie, it's good to see you. And number two, let's get started here. Where do we want to begin with when it comes to gaming? There's so much that's happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see you too, but no one is seeing any consoles, so that's a big deal. Obviously, just this past month, the new PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S just came out, and they are sold out literally everywhere. No one can get any. They're being sold out within literally seconds. I know Walmart just had the PS5 that went on sale, and it seems like 30 seconds and they were gone. So that's going to be really interesting to see. I'm really excited to see, which is kind of geeky, but it's fascinating, like what the actual numbers are, what sells the most. MPD tracks a lot of this, and they have numbers that are going to be coming out in mid-December. Matt Piscatella, who is one of their analysts, did note a couple months ago around then that the best-selling console might not really be indicative of what everyone wants. It just might be whichever maker makes the most consoles, because there's been a lot of attention on PlayStation and them being sold out, but the Xbox is also sold out. So I mean, it's really up for grabs, and it'll be interesting to see where this goes in the next year even.
Yeah, I mean, I know so many people that have been trying to get one and going to a website, and then of course, it crashes or you can't get a hold of them. I even tried for the PlayStation 5, and it's no luck so far. And that's really one of these issues with you see something like this come out, like a brand new console, which happens so infrequently, and especially something next generation like this, and to not have enough consoles out there for people to get seems like kind of a concern. So whoever's going to end up making more, you're right, that could end up being it. And I know, there's some different situations where people have had where they can go out in person to try to get them, which seems insane to me. But there has been that issue as well.
Yeah, so GameStop actually had an in-person sale on Black Friday. A lot of people, myself included, mentioned online, on Twitter, wherever, that this is kind of crazy, genuinely, just because, well, one, there's a pandemic, but not only has the pandemic been ongoing, but we're seeing cases rising. We also saw at the beginning stages of closures that GameStop was really holding out, saying that it was an essential business because it has like monitors and things, denying the fact that even some place like Best Buy or something would do online only or pickup only, and kind of just waiting until Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing came out. They have a lot of business issues, and it seems like they've been relying on this year to save them. And it seems like a really desperate move to me, and a really dangerous one. People were camped out, and not just that, they said every store has a minimum of 2 consoles, but that was really it. And so even if you had 10 people lined up for 2 consoles, you have 8 people lining up, putting themselves at risk for no reason. And, a lot of places just didn't even have many. It's just really unfortunate to see that happen. I just feel like there are way better ways of doing this. And they're not the only ones. Walmart has also been toying with the in-person sales, the latest to do this.
So we had just a little bit of a connection issue there, but yeah, what you said, that Walmart's been trying this as well.
Yeah, they have kind of announced, maybe doing in person, some online or in person or both. And they've kind of rolled it back because, they've gotten backlash for it. And GameStop went through with it though. And for Black Friday, it was like doors open at 7 a.m. People are literally camping out. And, it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, even in a non-pandemic year, that sounds miserable camping out for something. I can wait a few days in order to get my hands on it or try it online. But yeah, interesting approaches, and I guess that is kind of indicative of a lot of different things. But that's the PlayStation 5, Xbox. If you got one, let us know. Do you like them? But you did mention something in there too, and that is Animal Crossing, which has had a pretty big year, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. So, it came out right when lockdown started happening all over the country. And it is kind of the perfect social distancing quarantine game, really. And, I feel like there's been less attention on it. Other games that are coming out are really stealing the spotlight, but they just had another really big update that just shows how well it is at, continuing to keep going. They just had their latest update, which added a whole Thanksgiving event, and you could do like all of these collections and get items and recipes. They also added in some holiday winter themed items. And a big change was that they added some more natural styles. A lot of people have been wanting these styles for curly hair, for hair that Black people have specifically that they don't feel was included. And they delivered finally, and people were really excited to see that. You've got like these super cute afro buns, like afros and braids, and it's just really awesome to see more diversity. You got some more reactions. Just a great move, I think, on their part to not just keep interest going, but really listen to what fans are saying and make a move that increases diversity in a simulation game.
It does seem like the game that's kind of been doing that right all along. I'm sure there's been some missteps along the way, but perfect timing. Like I said, it came out right when the pandemic happened, right when we all needed something to somehow have some sense of normalcy to go along with everything. And that's awesome that it's still doing so well and that people are still engaged with it and that they're listening to people. I think there's a lot of companies that don't, and that is a very good thing. That Nintendo usually knows what they're doing, but Animal Crossing in particular, that's really awesome. You did mention some other games that are coming out,
Yeah,
and this is part of
for
the reason why
sure.
I was so excited to get a console. Where are we at on those?
Yeah. Also, I forgot to mention, Animal Crossing passed in Japan more than 6 million copies sold, which is the first in Super Mario Brothers. So yeah, it's doing pretty well. But we have obviously some of the latest games that just came out. We've got Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is kind of billed as like the big like PS5 game. You have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I don't think you can have an Assassin's Creed game at this point without a lot of debate. It's either great or it sucks or it's too different or it's not different enough. But people are talking about it, and it's
Yep.
still a really successful franchise. I personally really like it. I like the story. I think they did a good job. I was excited about it. I'm not a massive Assassin's Creed fan, but it's not bad. I like to explore and have that open world and jump in and out of it. You've also got Astro's Playroom, which is specifically for the PS5, and it's free. It's built into the console, and it's mostly supposed to be a DualSense demo. The DualSense is the new PS5 controller, and it's supposed to show off everything that you can do, the adaptive triggers and all that. But it's already got so many people being super competitive with speed runs. It's a great platformer. They had Astrobot come out for PSVR, which I love, but I'm not a big fan of PSVR and the wires. So seeing this come out and it not being VR and just more accessible is awesome. I think it's a really great platformer, and it's so fun to see how everyone's getting really creative with how fast they're going. Mind blowing. Love to see it. So you're really going to be seeing more of that. But
I'll
we
say as
can't
somebody who just
talk
finished.
about.
Oh, I was. Oh, really quick. I was just going to say
Oh
I
no,
just finished
go for
Assassin's
it.
Creed Odyssey, and I am quite slow at it. It took me a long time to get through it, but some of these other platforms and ways that you can, get through things fast and see how people are doing it. I'm excited to see that. I'm terrible, but I'm glad other people are good at it.
Yeah, I think it's really mesmerizing to see the experts and just think, wow, I would never do that. I'd try and immediately fall off. It would not happen. But what I was going to say is we can't talk about upcoming games without talking about Cyberpunk 2077, which I know you've talked about being excited for as well. It feels like the entire world is excited for it. It's been delayed, what,
Right?
2 or 3 times now? I actually can't keep track. Um, And what's extra interesting is that the only thing that seems to take longer than for the game to come out is the game itself. We're hearing all of these reports that the game is crazy long, and that's part of why people are taking so long to make it come out. I mean, obviously, props to all the developers working on it. And, I never want to see them work in poor conditions regardless, but everyone's super excited. It seems like a really involved, detailed game. Hopefully it's not delayed again. It's supposed to be coming out super soon, so that would be a really big shock to everyone. But they're also announcing some more compatibility with the next generation consoles. I wasn't expecting them to make that as big of a priority at launch, just because this was supposed to come out months ago and it was delayed, and they said we are already delayed for things we're previously planning to do. So to add on these other features, it's not really going to happen right away. So that's not super surprising, but I think it's still probably going to be a great game. I hope it is. I'm excited to play it. And I know a lot of other people are. And, gaming has really been one of those things that's getting people through quarantine, whether it's Animal Crossing or something else. So, it's really nice to see that there are games you can play even if you don't have an Xbox Series X or S or a PS5 too.
Yeah, right. Like me. That's Cyberpunk is one of those that like you said, it feels like they've been talking about it for years. I mean, I guess they have, but hopefully sometime soon we'll actually get to see that. And I know, there's so much that goes on with gaming. And like you said, it's such a great thing right now as far as having those options and different games to play, and to keep up with that is very difficult, which is why you were so amazing at it. And that's why I want to take a second for everybody watching right now to just acknowledge that and talk about where people can follow what you're doing and keep up to date with all of this stuff.
Well, thank you so much, firstly. But I will be launching a new YouTube channel. The first video will be going out this week. It's called Hit Play Already. So I'm really excited. The first video is going to be taking a look at the latest Sims 4 expansion pack, Snowy Escape. I'm a big Sims fan, so I'm really excited to just dive deep into it, a lot of the inspirations, my thoughts on it, and there's a lot more to come. I have some other ideas in the works, so that's really exciting. And I'll be talking about gaming, I'll be talking about consoles, what's coming out, and all of my very deepest thoughts about all of these games, and also just entertainment shows and films as well. So yeah, once that video is up, you should really just hit play already and watch.
I cannot wait. So hit play, record, and where can people follow you on Twitter in the meantime to get like all the announcements? Is Twitter the best way?
Yeah, for sure. So you can find me at Lisa Marie _Lynn, LISAMARIE _, don't spell that out, LYNN. And you can always catch me there for hot takes, cold takes, medium spice takes, and more news on what I'm up to.
All of the takes and a new YouTube channel launching. Congratulations. That is awesome. And definitely we'll be sharing that out so everybody knows to subscribe and follow you on Twitter. Lisa Marie, it is always so nice to talk to you. And thank you for keeping us up to date in like 10 minutes of like all of this news. There's a ton more out there. Everybody follow her on Twitter. And thank you so much. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Lisa Marie Segarra right here. This is 2Box Live, so she is joining us. That is so cool. Again, seriously, follow her on Twitter. Follow the new channel when that launches, because that's going to be great, whatever is coming out on that. I will definitely be watching along with that. And here's what we've got coming up next. So it is Cyber Monday. I've got a couple of recommendations on products that I have that I think you might be interested in that we're going to be showing here in just a few. But before that, what about Cyber Monday? Do you ever think about where that actually came from? Where did that term start? We put together this little package here, just kind of showcasing this, a little bit of trivia for you about how Cyber Monday got going. So I believe that we're airing that next. So here it is, right here on 2Box Live. We're all familiar with Cyber Monday and what that entails for us. It means getting great discounts online for televisions and electronics and other items the Monday after Thanksgiving and Black Friday. But other than the name maybe sounding like a 90s emo band, how did it all get started? This is the history of Cyber Monday. It all started way back in 2005. Now, to give some context, Holla Batgirl from Gwen Stefani was at the top of the charts, Furbies were selling like crazy, and MySpace boasted about 16 million monthly users as the largest social media network at the time. Now, the National Retail Federation, or NRF, is an organization that consists of members of all kinds from the retail industry, and it helps monitor purchasing trends by consumers. One of the biggest trends they had noticed was the uptick in online sales happening the Monday after Thanksgiving, the previous couple of years. They correlated this to the fact that people were back in the office, where most likely they had faster internet than they had at home. They were saving up a lot of that online purchasing for Monday, so they wanted to take advantage of this and try to create some noise around it. The senior vice president of the NRF, Ellen Davis, came up with a name to call it, and Cyber Monday was born. Other names considered at the time were Black Monday or Blue Monday because of the blue color of hyperlinks. Yeah, well, even now, Cyber Monday was clearly the better choice. They put out a press release, the New York Times ran with the name, and away it went. Now, according to ComScore, that first year, it was estimated that there were $484 million in sales for that Monday alone. Not too bad. Now, let's skip ahead from 2005 up to 2009. That was when the Amazon and Walmart competition was starting to heat up, as Amazon became the #1 retail site that previous year. Walmart decided to bump up their sales a notch and came up with Cyber Week to bolster the sales numbers. That is a trend that has continued to this day, because now the line between Black Friday and Cyber Monday is blurred considerably as the proliferation of high-speed internet and the tendency of retailers to start sales early or extend them past Monday has continued. However, Cyber Monday itself is still a force to be reckoned with when it comes to online sales. In 2019, it's estimated that Cyber Monday was responsible for $7.8 billion of digital spending, and that's sure to be higher in 2020, especially given the fact that we are in a pandemic. Whatever you want to call it, Cyber Monday is not going anywhere. It's just going to get exponentially bigger. And honestly, we need to bring that term cyber back anyway more. So this has been a cyber segment from 2Box Media on the history of Cyber Monday. Don't forget to cyber click and cyber subscribe as well on whatever platform you're watching. Share the show. Let other people know about it. We'll talk to you soon. All right. Hello, everyone. This is 2Box Live. And again, I'm Greg Nibbler, and thanks for joining us here. We are just getting launched. We're just getting started with this. We've got a lot of things that we're going to be doing with this show. So I want to tell everybody to hit subscribe to 2Box Media, TWO. That's how you spell 2Box Media on all the social media platforms. But it is Cyber Monday. I wanted to showcase a couple of products that I think might be interesting for you to pick up. They're things that I have that I wanted to mention. And the first one is this. It is the Shark Ninja Robot Vacuum. This is something that I got recently and I love it. So here's what it can do. It will self-empty. It comes with a stand that it will roll around your room. It'll come in, it'll map everything out on its own, which is pretty interesting. And then once it's done, it'll go back to its own little home where it'll empty everything by itself. You don't have to touch anything gross. It does it all for you. It's pretty awesome. It works with I won't say the word. It works with your Amazon device. It's Wi-Fi enabled. You get an app for it, and you can name it. I named mine Frank. Why? Just because it looked like a Frank, but everybody should name theirs. I highly recommend that. And right now, this thing's normally, let's see, $599. So it's normally $600. It is a fancy piece of technology. Right now, it's on sale for $349.99. That is $250 off. And we've got a link for you to follow wherever you're watching. We'll have that link on there. You can click through and take advantage of that and get the savings. Get yourself your own Frank or whatever you want to call it. This is the Shark Ninja Robot. All right, so that is one product for Cyber Monday I wanted to highlight. And I'm weird. I name a lot of things. The other thing I wanted to mention, we talked about video games. This is one that for me is a lot of fun. I've talked about how I'm not very good at video games. So if you're a button masher like me, you need to play God of War. If you have not done it yet, I know it's been out for a while. I know a lot of people have done it. Maybe you skipped over it. Right now, it is $9.99. Yes, $9.99. You can order this on Amazon. And that is for God of War. And seriously, you just press buttons, you fight gods, and really that's it. There's a giant serpent in there somewhere. You got like a kid that follows you around, and it's just fun. So button mashing galore, God of War, get that, $9.99. We'll have a link for that too. Final thing I wanted to mention for a Cyber Monday deal, there's a lot out there, is this. You need a good speaker. Well, how about the Ultimate Ears Wonder Boom? This is the one that I wanted to highlight. This is a fantastic speaker. The sound is amazing on it, number one, but also waterproof. So if you are somebody who likes to get in the water, maybe you've got a pool. Awesome. But maybe you just like getting out and it's raining, or you bring it into the shower. This thing, you can drop it into the water. It'll be fine. It's like I said, the sound is amazing on it on top of that. And right now it is on sale. It's a good deal. This is one of these things where you buy and you have it for years. Really, they do have updates. There's newer ones that are out there, but I believe the deal right now is it's normally $100. It's $70 for this particular one, so $30 off. This is something where it's worth investing a little bit and getting something that's more quality. Maybe, if maybe you buy the cheap Bluetooth speakers, those are great, but they're not going to last. They don't sound good. This is one that's a good deal. So check that out. That is the Ultimate Ears Wonder Boom. So that's just 3 products there for Cyber Monday. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's joining us and sharing the show. One of the most important things when you're launching something new is people watching. So thank you for watching. Please like it. Please hit subscribe. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We've got twoboxmedia.com where you can go and take a look at everything. We've got the links there as well. And we're building this out. This is a venture that we appreciate all of you watching and that we're really, really excited about. It's myself, Mike Solis, Jess Serba, and we've got this thing launched and going. And as we do this, we've got more and more stuff that's going to be coming out. A lot of content. That's why when you hit subscribe, you get the notifications. We'll be live every Monday at usually 10 a.m. Pacific, and then on Fridays as well. So we'll kind of bookend your week for you, and then we'll have other things that come out as well, like that SpaceX launch. We'll be rebroadcasting that, as long as they give us a heads up when they do it. And so all things that you can check out and be a part of. And we just thank everybody. You can always email us as well. Send one to info@twoboxmedia.com. info@twoboxmedia.com. So that is one way you can get a hold of us. Tell us what you like, what you didn't like. Be gentle. No, it's okay. So send us an email if you have a recommendation for a great guest or a product that you think we should take a look at and review. We'll be doing that as well. So send us that email, info@twoboxmedia.com. And thank you, everybody. Once again, I know I say thank you a lot, but I mean it. I appreciate it. We'll be back on Friday with more 2 Box Live.